President Bill Clinton actually walked into Vanity Fair headquarters to kill a Jeffrey Epstein story. Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, in a 2011 email exchange, said, quote, Bill Clinton walked into Vanity Fair and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we got last night.
Yeah, for more, in studio, retired New Jersey Superior Court Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, thanks so much for coming in and joining us.
Good morning.
Today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So
no matter what we're talking about.
I know, right? I know. I bet you didn't think about this. So we're seeing a lot of A-list celebrities, a lot of politicians on this list, but that does not mean that you did anything wrong. Many of the people on this list have done nothing wrong. So
correct.
Can they sue for defamation?
Unfortunately, they cannot. I say unfortunately because in the public's mind, when your name is on the list, oh, you had something to do with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of it was perfectly innocent and utterly appropriate. For example, our friend and colleague, Professor Alan Dershowitz, was Epstein's lawyer. Of course he would be there to meet and confer with his client. There's not a shred of allegation against him. The former President Donald Trump flew on the plane or met him at Mar-a-Lago. Not a shred of allegations about inappropriate behavior. Other people, like former President Clinton, there is some innuendo there. Can people like Bill Clinton sue? Answer, no, because of something called the litigation privilege. If I'm suing you, I get to say things about you, and that's privilege. Then you get to say things about me, that's privilege. So all of this emanates from 3 or 4 defamation cases and 2 criminal cases, during the course of which people said things about each other. The dust settles, the cases are over. The Miami Herald sues under the Freedom of Information Act and says, we want the FBI's files. The FBI says, you're not going to get our files. A federal judge, Judge Loretta Preska, very well-respected federal judge here in New York, holds a hearing and says, there's no reason for the FBI to hang on to this.
Right.
Release the names.
Yeah.
So they are releasing these names in tranches, like 100 names each day.
Yeah, and we're looking at 900 pages or something like that of documents now. So it's a lot to go through. But let's be honest, people like the juicy innuendo. The question is, what comes after all of this? Because everything that people want to know is about who broke the law.
Correct.
And who actually, so what comes after we get through all these documents?
Probably nothing comes after it. The statute of limitations on criminal prosecution has expired. The statute of limitations for defamation has expired. So the only interest in whose name was there is historical and political. Oh, President Clinton, were you there that many times? He's not going to want to answer it, but they're going to see him in public and ask him those questions. It's going to be meaningless to his political career, and he can't sue anybody over it, but his name is there.
Maybe not for his wife's, though. I think if Hillary is campaigning for Joe Biden, she will have to take questions.
Good.
I think people will ask her.
Probably
right or wrong, people will ask her, I think.
Did you know your husband was there? According to this, he was there while you were in the White House or while you were Secretary of State. I'm hypothesizing.
Of course.
I haven't seen the list, so I don't know the dates of Bill's alleged contacts there.
I want to pivot. We were talking off camera about something big that will happen by 10 a.m. today at the Supreme Court.
In half an hour, in 35 minutes, 9 people will sit around a conference table, a little bit bigger than this, in a locked, windowless room in Washington, D.C., without their black robes on, and they will decide whether or not to accept Donald Trump's appeal of the decision and ruling by the Colorado Supreme Court keeping him off the ballot in Colorado.
And then Monday, we would theoretically find out what that decision is?
And the decision will be to accept the appeal or not. It will not. The decision today will not be on the merits of the appeal.
Could it leak out? Because everything, as we know, leaks out of the Supreme Court.
You seem to know a lot.
I doubt if it will leak. I don't think this
Do you expect the court to take it up?
It has to take it up. If it doesn't, all bets are off, and you're going to get each state Supreme Court interpreting the 14th Amendment in a different way. The job of the Supreme Court is to give one standard, uniform interpretation of the Constitution that applies everywhere.
I asked you this before. Ketanji Brown Jackson, during her confirmation hearings, could not define what a woman was. How is she going to define what an insurrection is?
She'll find a way.
Yeah. So you don't think it's unanimous, though? 9-0.
John Roberts will do the best he can to make this unanimous. The last thing he wants is for this to look political. The last thing he wants is for this to look like the court is trying to hurt or the court is trying to help Trump. The court is trying to do the right thing for the Constitution.
Okay, we'll watch for that. Maybe a leak over the weekend. The Roe decision was leaked.
If there's a leak and I hear it, I'm calling you.
Please do.